This is our Mompreneur Book Club. Welcome. So I'll be going through chapters 1 through 4. So this is Essentialism, the disciplined pursuit of less. If you are a mompreneur, if you're a business owner, and if you're a high achiever and are a yes person, this is a great book to read because it helps you really create a balance in your life, as well as get rid of the mom guilt, and which is really hard. I'm a type A personality, so I think I'm gonna need to read this book at least once a year just to have that reminder. But every time I read it, which this is the second time I'm reading it, I get clarity and I feel less stress, and that's a beautiful thing, so I had to share it with you. So the first few chapters, because we'll do this in a 4-part series because we cover our books over a whole month, is about essence. So the mind, what is an essentialist, right? I'll read some little quotes out of here. The wisdom of life consists in the elimination of non-essentials. So throughout the book, you're going to hear a lot of Greg speaking about an essentialist and a non-essentialist, and he has different diagrams in here that are going to help you basically decide, do you think more like an essentialist, or do you think more like a non-essentialist, and how to kind of switch that mindset. So I think one of the most powerful diagrams he has here in the book is you're going to find on page 6, which is talking about our energy. And yes, I have all my little marks. And the energy we exert. And so here would be more of a non-essentialist. And these are people who are, yes, people, guilty. These are people who want to do everything and do everything to the best of their ability, which is great. It's fabulous. But the thing is if you say yes to everything, you'll probably only get this far with your energy. And so this is showing the same amount of energy exerted and put into one direction. So what I did personally was I kind of thought about, well, what is something that I want for my family? Like, what is my goal? And really I want my family to be happy. So what are the things I need to do to kind of get my family in that? And I split it up into categories. So that I'd understand, does a play date once a week really help me get to that happy family, right? It may or may not. So that's something I have to assess. Another part that I'm really enjoying throughout the book is an essentialist isn't someone who just says no to everything, but is really someone who thinks things through and considering, is this the best way I can get to my goal or my highest point of contribution, is a lot of what he talks about. So here's one of those diagrams I was telling you about where he's comparing here I'm trying to get it focused for you, the non-essentialist versus the essentialist. So a non-essentialist will think, I have to. It's all important. How can I fit it in? So that may be the person who has 3 birthdays and is trying to make all 3 of the birthdays. Or you have meetings back to back, but have no time to think in between them. And as you're going into one meeting, you're actually on a conference call. So it really makes you think about, how do you spend your day? And an essentialist, the way they think is, I choose to. So as we go into chapter 2, it's all about choices. And I think when we are so busy that we cannot take anymore and we're up to here, what happens is we forget that we have a choice. Everything feels like this needs to be done now, or else it won't be taken care of. So I think we need to step back at that point and realize, okay, what is your highest point of contribution? What is the best choice to make? Where should you be spending your energy? So the next one is, what are the trade-offs? So this is kind of, I have to be so quick with these videos because I have to do everything in 10 minutes. But so we talk about the trade-offs as well in chapter 3, but I wanted to tell you another quote before we go into chapter 3. And that is, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. This one really stood out to me because I was thinking about whenever I have empty space on my calendar, I automatically it ends up getting filled because someone asks me to do something or someone needs something. And I think, well, I do have that time available. But what we forget is we actually need that space. With today's technology, with the instantaneous way we've trained our brain, where if someone messages us, we need to respond now. If someone texts us, we need to respond now. What has happened is we have lost that space. We've lost that clarity of, I mean, do we really need to respond within that instant? Maybe it is an emergency, so yes. But is it something that could wait 30 minutes? Is it something that could wait an hour or even a day? So that's something you'll have to assess and think about, you know, how does that fit into your priorities, your contribution that you want to display. The other point that I just mentioned, and I'm laughing because I said priorities. And Greg talks about the history of the word priority. And it actually hasn't been priorities till the last few decades, like the last decade. It always used to be about priority. A priority was something important, and that was one thing that was important. And now what do we have? We have so many priorities. It's, I need to, you know, it's family, it's God, it's what else? But what we find out is if we find that one central thing, that true priority, everything else will tend to fall in place. But it's really outlining everything. So I thought that was really interesting about learning that before the actual origination was only of the word priority was singular. And now we have changed it to mean much more. And we use it, I mean, think about it. We often say priorities, not priority. So you'll see me kind of correcting myself because I've been trained so often to talk about priorities. But so yes, so then we're going to go into chapter 3, which is really about, when we talk about choices, it's actually learning that not everything is as important as we once thought it was. You know, we fill our mind with all these things that, yes, they're on our to-do list, but when we think about them and are they something that has to be done? And it has relieved me so much by reading this book and going through it and understanding that a non-essentialist says, I have to, and they forfeit the right to choose, right? But an essentialist, you're really thinking about, is this the best choice for me? So it may take a little bit longer in the beginning for you to actually choose, do you want to be, to live in the way of an essentialist, in the sense of, I know that my highest point of contribution is X. So my choices are going to be made towards that. And that starts with you. So I really, really want you to think about, what is it that is your goal? What is your main priority in life? And how does that fit into your business? And what are the choices? Because we do have choices that we're going to make this week. Next, the chapter 4 is about trade-offs. And this is something that is really hard for us, I think, because we know that if we are not, if we're choosing one thing, we are missing out, right? Everybody's worried about missing out on something. But if you choose you, you're going to be so much happier because you're really not going to be missing out, but you're going to be growing in a way that you can enjoy life. So I'll see you next week, where we find out about the next chapters, and we are going to be talking about exploring. Okay? Talk to you soon.